What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the JuiceBox presented by Lock City. It's Wighty and Munz here today. Happy Wednesday again. I'm back for a second time today. Hope everyone's still having a good week so far. Now we have episode number 95 of the JuiceBox, which is going to be an outlook into this weekend's banger of a UFC main card featuring two title fights at UFC 316 at Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. But before we get into it, just a reminder that you can, of course, join our premium tier Discord at wap.com/lockcity for only $5 a month. This gets you access to every cheat sheet every day across all active major sports, access to premium picks from all 9 of our pro cappers, and tons of other sport-specific and stat-specific data points on a daily basis to help you become a better sports bettor. Like I said this morning on the MLB pod, we cashed our 8th consecutive JuiceBox Lock yesterday. Our guy Claw shouted out Carlos Rodon over 6.5 strikeouts in yesterday's Yankees and Guardians matchup. Rodon took care of business for us. He struck out 8 Guardians through 93 pitches. We are now 37, 27, and 1 overall on our JuiceBox locks, up 26.19 units or $2,619 for you $100 bettors. And we're going for our 9th consecutive win tonight with the over 8.5 runs in the Orioles and Mariners game tonight in Seattle. Claw also took care of us yesterday in his channel with some more pitcher props. He went 3 for 3. He called out Lance McCullers over 5.5 Ks, Brian Bello over 15.5 outs, and Hunter Green over 6.5 Ks. Over in my channel yesterday, we cashed some nice CS2 combo plays for day 1 of the Blast TV Austin Major. We also timed a perfect, well, no longer perfect cash out today on a CS2 all-day parlay. I cashed it out for $913 off of $100, but it ended up cashing for like $1,250. So took care of business for everybody there, even those that didn't have cash out options. We've also taken care of a couple other CS2 plays today. Trey cashed just out on yesterday's free play of the day. He called out the Brewers and the Reds for under 8.5 total runs. And we've been doing nonstop bangers left and right in there. Like we said, 9 guys dropping plays. We do daily picks from that capper team. We have daily projections for all major sports. And of course, our Lock City cheat sheets that we're running daily for a ton of different sport and prop markets. You can get better results by paying only 16 cents a day at wap.com/lockcity. That's WHOP.com/lockcity. Now, what we're here today to talk about, UFC 316 in Newark, New Jersey. We got Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili for the men's main event, the featherweight title, or sorry, not featherweight, bantamweight title. And then we have Julianna Pena going up against Kayla Harrison for a women's title there. Munz, how are you feeling about this card this weekend? There's a lot of fights that I'm excited about, but curious to see what you're thinking overall.
I absolutely love this card. It's about time we get a pay-per-view event back on our hands here, and they came to us with a banger. So I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to dive into it here and talk about it with you. I didn't really look at your picks for the main card. I didn't really want your decisions to sway mine. So I'm interested to see what you got here. I do know that we have we already talked about our juice box lock, so I know we're the same on that, but we'll get to that later on here. Okay, so like Whitey said, UFC 316 on our hands here. The first fight of the main card, we got Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. So Vicente Luque is coming into this one with a record of 23-10-1, being 16-6-0 in the UFC. He's 2-3 in his last 5 and is coming off a submission victory in his last. He has 20 wins by finish, 11 KOs, TKOs, and 9 by submission. Kevin Holland is coming into this one with a record of 27-13-0 with 1 no contest, being 14-10-0 with 1 no contest in the UFC, 2-3 in his last 5 as well, but he's coming off a decision win in his last just earlier this year. He has 22 wins by finish, 14 KO, TKOs, and 8 submissions. If we're looking at the tail of the tape, the age is very similar. Luque is 33, Kevin Holland's 32. Kevin does hold both a significant reach and height advantage over his opponent. I think this is going to be a very interesting one, but right away, I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. It's been a little bit back and forth with him in his past few fights, but he's been the more active fighter. I believe he's fought twice this year.
Yep.
Although one was, he fought twice this year. One was a loss, and we haven't seen Luque fight since 2024. So I believe a bit of ring rust is going to be on Luque. I think Kevin Holland is going to take advantage of that, and I think this is a great position for him to get another win under his belt and move up the ranks.
To be honest, I agree with everything that you said. I had Kevin Holland and I flipped it this morning. I'll tell you why. I agree with you. I
Oh,
think very interesting fight. Both of these guys, 2-3 in their last five. They're both in pretty similar spots from a career perspective, where they've been able to string together some quality wins, followed by some quality as well as some horrible losses. I think Luque is all around. He's a good fighter. His fight history is excellent. He's fought a ton of champions. His resume speaks for itself, more or less. He puts forward, I would say, a consistent effort every time that he's out there. But there is always the possibility when he's doing so that he's going to overexpose himself or get caught, like we saw against Joaquin Buckley and like we saw against Jeff Neal. His last time out, he was able to catch Thembo Garimbo with a couple of punches to set up a submission. He looked clean. It was a super quick fight, but he looked good. Kevin Holland, I love to watch, but the fact of the matter is you never know which you're
oh,
going to
your
get
mic.
when he steps into the
Hold up.
octagon.
So your mic was messing up there. My bad, but you're back now. Go ahead.
No, no worries at all. Kevin Holland, I like to watch him, but I don't know what version of Kevin Holland I'm ever going to get. For me, he kind of signals with all of these fights that he's doing that he's kind of in it just for the paycheck. He doesn't really have a desire to call anybody out. He seems to just fight every couple of months against whoever the UFC wants to match him up with. To me, that shows that his heart's not really in it, and we've seen this kind of through the inconsistencies of his performances. He's looked good in a couple where the opportunity presents itself, but otherwise he just gives up. So I'm going to go Vicente Luque on the money line here, just for the reason that I know what version of him I'm going to get. I don't trust that version. I'll put it like this, I guess. I don't trust the version of Vicente Luque that I know I'm going to get more than the best version of Kevin Holland, but I do trust it more than the worst version of Kevin Holland. And because I don't know what version of Kevin Holland we're going to get, I'm going to go Vicente Luque on the money line because it's plus 210 mostly. I'm getting a lot of value on it for something that I see as pretty close to 50-50. But I totally understand the Kevin Holland side, and I was on Kevin Holland up until this morning.
Yeah, you make very good counterpoints there. You do, but I personally think we're going to see the version of Kevin Holland that wins. I know it's his third fight in 2025, which seems pretty close. I mean, they're only a few months apart, but like I said, ring rust might be a real thing for Luque, and I think we might see that, and Kevin Holland will take advantage of it. But I like those counterpoints. We could definitely closer to a 50-50 fight. Those odds are great value for taking Luque. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, I do like Kevin Holland. I mean, he looked really good against Gunnar Nelson's another guy. It's like I don't know if he's all the way in it, but he
Yeah.
looked good against Gunnar Nelson. Those losses against Delidze and Rainier de Ritter obviously weren't good. But he subbed Michael Olakjacek, so I don't know. 50
Anything
50
can
for me.
happen. Yeah, honestly, truly 50-50. I'd have to agree with you there. But let's move on to the next fight here. We have Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix. So Mario Bautista is coming into this one with a record of 15-2-0, being 9-2-0 in the UFC, 5-0 in his last five, and is currently on a 7-fight win streak in the UFC. Although could argue that it's six, as he stole a win from Jose Aldo, but that's a conversation for another day, isn't it? He has 9 wins by finish, 3 KO, TKOs, and 6 by submission. Patchy Mix is coming into this one with a record of 21-0, making his debut in the UFC, 5-0 in his last five. He's also on a 7-fight win streak, and he currently just won the Bellator Champions Series in Paris. He has 15 wins by finish, 2 KO, TKOs, 13 by submission, and I think he'll be looking to make a statement in his debut here. If we look at the tail of the tape, both are 31 years old coming into this. Patchy's holding a height and reach advantage, but not by too much. Go ahead. Let's see where you're sitting here.
I'm kind of iffy on it. I think it's going to be another fun one for sure. Like you said, we have Patchy Mix obviously making his UFC debut, and he's not getting in a full camp either. He's replacing Cheeto Vera on this, so not getting a full fight camp, but still a decent amount of notice. I haven't watched a ton of Patchy Mix, but have now watched enough to know that he's a talented, well-rounded fighter. I think he's probably going to edge out Mario Bautista here on Saturday. Personally, I hope he finishes him just because of what you said. But the Bautista and Jose Aldo fight, that made me upset. I'm kind of mad at Bautista, even though it's not his fault that he robbed Jose Aldo of a win. We saw him get outstruck by Jose for 15 minutes. I think similarly here, we're going to see him get outworked. I know we saw Patricio Pitbull come from Bellator and he got crushed by Yair Rodriguez. And then Michael Chandler came from Bellator and he's been underwhelming, especially as of recently. But I'm going to go Patchy Mix in his prime. He's only 31 here. 30, 31, something like that, to set himself apart from the rest of that group. I think he's going to get a win here. He has finishes in 15 of his 20 wins, and 13 of those are by submission if you're looking for methods. But Patchy mix on the money line for me for call the card, minus 200.
I'm going to have to agree with you, man. I'm going to have to agree with you. I think he's going to make a statement in his debut. But we also have to talk about those points you said about Bellator fighters coming to the UFC. It hasn't really been good for them at all, as you mentioned about Patricio and Michael Chandler. But I think this is going to be different for Patchy. As you said as well, a bit shorter of a fight camp for this, but I think he's going to give us something special. I think he's going to prove that he can hang in the UFC. I want that new blood Patchy mix as well. All right.
I like it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next fight, which also contains our JuiceBox Lock for this UFC fight card. So we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Kelvin Gastelum's coming into this one with a record of 29-0, 1-0 contest, being 13-9-0 and 1-0 contest in the UFC. 2-3 in his last 5, and is coming off a decision win in his last. He has 11 wins by finish, 6 KO TKOs, and 5 submissions. Joe Pyfer's coming into this one with a record of 13-3-0, being 4-1-0 in the UFC, while also making him 4-1 in his last 5, coming off a KO win in his last. He has 12 wins by finish, 9 KO TKOs, and 3 by submission. So if you look at the tail of the tape for this one, Joe Pyfer is the younger fighter by 5 years at 28 years old, holding the reach and height advantage. I don't think this looks good for Kelvin Gastelum at all. Kind of seems to be a fight to send him to retirement from the UFC. We got Joe. He's younger, he's hungrier, and just all in and all around a better fighter at this point. So, yeah, you already know it. I'm sticking with Joe on this one.
I agree. Yep. For me as well, pretty straightforward. We both, I'm pretty sure, picked Joe Pyfer when this fight was originally scheduled for Mexico City when Pyfer got food poisoning or whatever it was. But I'm going to be sticking with him this time around as well. This is basically a home turf fight for him. The card's in Newark. He's from Philly. It's like, I don't know, hour and a half away. He's 13-3 overall. He's got a 5-inch height advantage. He's 6'2", and Gastelum's 5'9". So, like, I mean, that's considerable even in terms of frame. He's going to put on his weight a lot better. He's going to be heavier come Saturday night. I think Pyfer's legit. He's all around a good fighter. Gastelum looks mentally checked out. Aside from Gastelum's win over D-Rod, that decision, I think it was, where the fight got moved up in weight, and I'm pretty sure he won mostly on control time. He'd otherwise have lost like 3 of his last 4, and one of those was a loss to Joe Pyfer's boy, Sean Brady. So I'm going Joe Bodybags Pyfer here on the money line, minus 410. He knows what he has to do to prepare for this. I also love Joe Pyfer by knockout. It's a juicy plus 280. I think that's super good value for that.
Yeah, that's a very good pick, actually, the knockout. Plus 280, eh?
Yeah.
I might have to dabble with that.
Yeah, I like that. In addition to our JuiceBox Lock, which I'll save for a little bit later for us to circle back on. But
no, let's tell us them right now. Let's give them the JuiceBox Lock right now, right in the middle of the pod.
All right, we'll drop it at the end too. All right, JuiceBox Lock on this one. We are feeling Joe Pyfer double chance. Basically, just for him to get the job done inside the distance. We're going Joe Pyfer by TKO or sub. So he's got to get it done anyway, except for the scorecards. As long as Joe Pyfer finishes this fight, we're going to cash on this. That is plus 120 on FanDuel. And then if you want to sprinkle the knockout, like we said, plus 280. I think that's really good value. I would say probably like 70% chance he gets the knockout, 30% chance he gets the submission. So if you want to sprinkle it, knockout, I'm pretty sure at better odds, if I'm not mistaken, than the points. I really like that.
A little sprinkle, why don't you? Yeah, I like that a lot. I didn't look at it as knockout odds, so hearing that right now makes me a little bit excited, especially since he's minus 410 to win the fight.
And his nickname is Body Bags. So
Body Bags.
He gets
Body Bags.
We've seen him get it done.
Oh, he'll get it done. Okay. Now we shall move on to our next fight here. It's Julianna Pena versus Kayla Harrison, our co-main event of the evening. So Julianna Pena is coming into this one with a record of 13-5-0, being 8-3-0 in the UFC. She's 2-3 in her last 5, coming off a win in her last for the belt. She has 8 wins by finish, 3 KO TKOs, and 5 submissions. Kayla Harrison, the Beast, is coming into this one with a record of 18-1-0, being 2-0 in the UFC. She's 4-1 in her last 5, and she was on a 15-fight win streak before her first ever professional loss. She has 13 wins by finish, 6 KO TKOs, and 7 submissions. If we look at the tail of the tape, these girls are both 35 and 34 respectively, with Kayla holding the height advantage and Julianna holding a decent reach advantage. But for me, this one is pretty straightforward. I'm going with Kayla Harrison. She's an absolute unit. She's a beast. She's, I don't even know. I can't even put it into words. This girl is just amazing, honestly. Like, as a fighter all around, she's coming for the belt, and she's going to show why she's one of the best when it comes to women MMA.
I agree. As long as she can make the weight. I hate the line on this one, but I do have to side with Vegas. I agree with you 100%. Kayla Harrison wins this fight. As long as she's able to go out there and cut to 135, like we've seen her do. She's done it now, 2-3 times in the UFC. Yeah. So I think she wins it. There's a lot of tension between these fighters. I was surprised to see that Kayla Harrison's actually the younger of the two fighters between the two of them. For some reason, I thought Peña was around 33, but Kayla Harrison's actually younger. And as far as women's fights go, I think this is about as good as it gets. Neither of these ladies have an ounce of quit in them. I think we're in for some entertainment. I'd like to see a Kayla Harrison submission, but I think it's probably going decision. I would not be surprised by a bloodbath, and I hope we get one. Good luck to them both.
She could get the finish, man. She's a beast. She's a beast, man.
I hope she does.
I think she can get it done, and I think she will. She got 13 wins by finish. 13. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Has Julianna Peña ever been finished? I'm going to look
She's
that
tough.
up right now.
Yeah.
Looking that up right now. Give me 2 seconds. The Venezuelan Vixen.
She's
been knocked out once and submitted twice. She got submitted to Valentina.
She was submitted and Amania or
Jermaine.
No.
Oh yeah. Don't know how to say that. Derendami. And who'd she get knocked out by? Yeah. Oh, the knockout was back in 2012. Yeah, the knockout was back in 2012. Yeah. She hasn't been submitted since 2020. Yeah, she hasn't been submitted since 2020. No, she got submitted twice in the UFC.
No, the knockout wasn't in the UFC.
Oh, yeah. It was in Conquest of the Cage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. You might be right, actually. She might not be able to get the finish. She hasn't been finished in 5 years. But anything's possible in this sport that we love, in this absolute bloodbath of a sport that we love. But let's move on here to the main event of the evening, what everybody has been waiting for. We got Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. So Merab's coming into this one with a record of 19-4-0, being 12-2-0 in the UFC. He's 5-0 in his last 5 and on a 12-fight win streak after his 2 first losses in the UFC. He has 4 wins by finish, 3 KO, 2 KOs, and 1 submission. We have a decision merchant on our hands, as we all know. Sean O'Malley's coming into this one with a record of 18-2-0 with 1 no contest, being 10-2-0 with 1 no contest in the UFC. 3-1 and 1 no contest in his last 5, and is coming off a loss to Merab in his last fight, which was for the belt. He has 13 wins by finish, 12 KO, TKOs, and 1 by submission. If we look at the tail of the tape, O'Malley holds both the height, reach, and age advantage. He is 4 years younger than Merab. Merab is 34. O'Malley is 30. I've seen the change O'Malley has brought into his life and into his training for the camp, his increased dedication that he's given to his craft. I definitely think it's going to be a much closer fight than what we saw in their first. But Merab is just too conditioned, too good of a fighter. I think he's spent this time to sharpen on his flaws that he might have saw in his last fight against O'Malley and stay dominant as the bantamweight champion in this one. I got to go with the heavy favorite, Merab.
Fair. I don't blame you. I think for me, a couple of things lean me towards Suga in this one, and kind of play toward a little. I don't know if I'd call it an advantage, but a couple of things that make me lean Suga here. Firstly, we've seen Merab get touched up before, and we haven't seen Sean's chin tested to that same extent. He's better at avoiding strikes, and Merab won the first fight largely off his dominance of strength, which again will come into play here. He's still going to be stronger. Aside from the fact that we found out O'Malley had a torn hip in that first fight against Merab, I think mentally he's in a very good and productive space, like you acknowledged. Sean hasn't fought since that Merab loss. He's fully healthy. He's in the best physical condition of his career, at least it looks like from his social media. He arguably is entering his prime. Like you said, he's age 30 now. He's learning from his first real career loss, and he's had time to watch now how Umar fought against Merab. He knows what to expect from him fighting Merab the first time. He saw how Umar brought his game plan in, and I think we see Merab. I don't want to say he gets finished because he hasn't been knocked out yet in his career, but I think Sean could potentially edge out a close split decision win here. I'm gonna go with Sean O'Malley on the money line plus 220. I'm gonna ride with my boy here.
I mean, all good points, all very good points, but you know what? They could be setting us up for a trilogy. They really could be setting us up for a trilogy. I've seen some theories online of how the UFC is switching who they're broadcasting with, and people have been making the conspiracy that if it goes to decision, they're gonna edge it out and give it to Sean just because he's the more exciting fighter and he's more marketable to a degree to kind of give them more leverage when it comes to negotiation, which who they're going to broadcast the main event, the whatever the fuck these are called, because they're not going to be called pay-per-views anymore, these main title events. So I don't know, it kind of made me think a little bit that they might do it can be rigged to a degree like that, as we've seen in the UFC when it comes to the scorecards, but Merab is a decision merchant, so I don't
He
know.
is.
I gotta stick with them.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. All good points, and I definitely don't doubt that a lot of the. I mean, we've seen it even this year on a ton of cards where two of the judges have the fight 30-27 one way, and the other judge has it 30-27 the other way. So
Yeah.
you never know what you're gonna get when it comes to the cards.
Hopefully Dana's got some credible judges there this weekend, but we'll find out once those fights progress, I guess. There's no way of knowing until fight night.
Yeah, hopefully that Atlantic City Mafia money comes into play and O'Malley takes it home.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. All right, just circling back there, our JuiceBox Lock for this UFC 316 event is Joe Pyfer by KO, TKO, or submission double chance at plus 120. You could also give a little sprinkle on the knockout at plus 280, which Wighty and I both love. Anything else you want to add on here, brother?
Nope, I don't think so. I guess just depending on what platform you're listening on, subscribe or give us a follow or like the video if you can. Outside of that, we're really looking forward to Saturday night and hope to bring y'all a bunch of winners here.
All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you in the Discord, and we'll see you in the next one.